What kind of monster submarine did the Soviet Union build that was big enough to carry a swimming pool and 20 nukes and still remain undetectable? Which tank was built to glide into war like a metal bird? And which machine was so fast and so secret, NATO called it a ghost? Well, these Soviet machines weren't designed to impress. They were designed to disappear, conquer, and if necessary, destroy. While the West was obsessing over stealth bombers and moon missions, deep in the frozen heart of the Soviet military-industrial complex, engineers were building beasts. But what were these secret Soviet machines that should have never existed, but did? In this video, let's find out. Number 8. The Lun-class Ekranoplan. If the KM Ekranoplan was terrifying, its successor, the Lun-class, was downright absurd. Armed with 6 supersonic anti-ship missiles, the Lun was a naval killer built to skim just meters above the water at speeds of up to 550 kilometers per hour. The Soviets called it Project 903. The West didn't know what to call it because there was nothing like it. It carried as much firepower as a destroyer, but flew below radar. One unit was built, another was started. Both were mothballed after the Cold War ended. But the wreck of the Lun now lies rusting on a beach in Dagestan, like a dead leviathan washed ashore. Number 7. The Kharkov-Chanka. When you want to conquer Antarctica, you don't bring a truck, you bring the Kharkov-Chanka. Designed in the 1950s and deployed in the 1960s, this nuclear-powered behemoth was a hybrid between a tank and a mobile home. It could traverse frozen wastelands at minus 60 degrees Celsius, carry 12 people, and had a fully functional kitchen, beds, and a lab inside. It was nearly 60 feet long. It looked like a red snowplow that ate tanks for breakfast. The Soviets used it to reach places no one else could, including the South Pole of inaccessibility.
That's the insides of the old tracked vehicle that used to be used for tracked convoys like 20 years ago. That fellow decided to join the tour. That's the windscreens, driver's seat with some basic controls. That's the living compartment. Table. Place for preparing food, for cooking food, sorry. One bed. Second bed. Third bed. I guess there were some more, but now only 3 are actually in their place. That's the toilet, the sink, the mirror, the seat. Well, I think for its time it used to be quite comfortable and quite durable tracked vehicle, but the modern ones...
It was a rolling fortress for extreme exploration, and in wartime, it could have been used to transport mobile launchers across any frozen battlefield on Earth. Number 6. The Bartini-Beriev VVA-14. This thing didn't look like a plane. It didn't look like a boat. It looked like it crash-landed from Mars. The Bartini-Beriev VVA-14 was a Soviet attempt to build an aircraft that could take off vertically, fly at high altitudes, land on water, and operate as a submarine hunter. That's 4 jobs for one vehicle.
In 1972, the Beriev Design Bureau rolled out Bartini's outlandish M62. The M62 wasn't a true ekranoplane because it only used ground effect on takeoff. Bartini's design was unusual. 2 big pods were connected to the fuselage by large airfoils. The 2 engines at the front created a cushion of air by directing the exhaust into narrow channels between the fuselage and the pods. 2 more engines above the fuselage were used for cruise, letting pilots fly at higher altitudes than standard ekranoplanes. Bartini's creation was built to house 12 lift engines for vertical takeoff and landing. But the engines were never installed, and eventually the M62 went the way of many other exotic Russian designs.
Its weird, bulbous shape made it look more like a toy spaceship than a strategic weapon. But it flew. Only one was ever built. The vertical takeoff function worked, but only to some extent. Even if the idea was wild, it was part of a real program to hunt down American nuclear submarines across the oceans. And when it did take flight, witnesses reported it flying eerily low over the water, like a UFO from behind the Iron Curtain. Number 5. The ZIL-135. You have probably seen missile trucks, but none like the ZIL-135. This 8-wheeled fire-spitting juggernaut was built to launch the Luna M battlefield nuclear missile. It could drive over mud, snow, and swamps at 65 kilometers per hour while carrying a nuclear payload. engines powered different wheels on each side. That means if one engine got blown off, the other half could still drag the beast through battle. It was loud, unstable, and terrifying. But it worked. If the Cold War ever went hot, these were the first to scream across Europe. Number 4. The RT-23 Molodets, a train that hides a nuclear missile. The RT-23 Molodets looked like a cargo train but carried intercontinental ballistic missiles, each with enough power to level New York. The idea? Mobility. In a nuclear war, stationary silos would be destroyed first. But how do you nuke a target you can't find? These trains rolled silently through the Soviet Union, disguised as standard freighters, waiting for the launch code. The Cold War nearly went off the rails literally. Number 3. The Typhoon-class submarine, bigger than an aircraft carrier, packed with 20 nuclear missiles, able to stay submerged for months. The Typhoon-class submarine was the largest ever built. Designed to survive a full-scale nuclear exchange and still strike back, it carried everything: swimming pools, saunas, even soundproof music rooms for crew morale.
But not even Jules Verne pictured life like this at the bottom of the sea. As the world's biggest submarine, the Typhoon deserves the traditional nickname of the floating hotel. In its atmosphere of a comfortable, if slightly dated health club, it's easy to forget its deadly purpose. It's one way of maintaining crew morale, despite very low pay, uncertainty about the future, and poor conditions at home. Despite all his responsibility, even Captain Zhiguliov earns only a few dollars a month.
Дождусь ли я тебя, сынок? Дождусь ли я тебя, сынок?
And then there's the traditional fringe benefit of the nuclear submariner. Russia may be finding it hard to feed its civilian population.
Nicknamed Red October, these underwater monsters were floating apocalypses. Only 6 were built, each a billion-dollar death machine. The West never built anything like it because no one else could hide a battleship underwater. Before we continue, are you enjoying the video? If so, don't forget to hit the like button. share it with fellow enthusiasts, and subscribe to our channel for more jaw-dropping content on mega machines, groundbreaking engineering feats, and revolutionary farming innovations. Now, let's dive back in. Number 2. Object 490A Buntar. Forget World War II tanks. Object 490A was a tank from the year 2100, designed in the 1980s. It had composite armor, dual cannons, reactive plating, and even drone coordination systems. This was at a time when NATO still used analog radio. It looked like a stealth fighter on tracks, a low angular machine made for future wars. But it never made it past the prototype. Why? The Soviet Union collapsed before it could unleash its real next-gen war machine. Number 1. The T-95 Black Eagle. You thought the T-14 Armada was modern? The T-95, or Black Eagle, was its ancestor, and arguably, it's better. Designed in the final years of the USSR and continued quietly into the 1990s, the T-95 featured a remote turret, autoloader, active protection systems, and modular composite armor. Its real secret? The crew was entirely inside the hull, no heads sticking out of turrets like World War I. It was fully digitized, heavily armored, and capable of firing guided missiles from its main gun. Which of these Soviet machines shocked you the most? Do you believe these unusual and extraordinary machines will still be in service in modern Russia? In the comments section right below, share your thoughts on any Soviet machine that was not on the list, but should have been. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to get more videos on technological feats and farming advancements that are changing the world. Until the next video, stay tuned.